Religious tolerance is really an interesting subject for early American history because the Puritans who came to Massachusetts, Connecticut, to some extent the Plymouth colony, wanted to be free, but not freedom in the sense of allowing everyone to do what they thought they should best do for themselves. They wanted to be free to do what they considered to be the right. So you do have freedom in New England, but it's freedom to be a Puritan. If you disagree, then you have to leave. So Roger Williams is who disagrees with some of the Puritan doctrines and some of the Puritan practices, gets to be exiled. That's his freedom. The situation in Virginia is a little bit different, although the Church of England is established, and it's not really until the 1750s or even the 1760s that other religious groups are allowed legally to practice, even though in the mother country, in Britain, 1688, 1689, with the coming in of the Protestant monarchs to replace the Catholic James II, there was an edict of toleration that said in Britain and its empire, if people honored the king and made the right kind of official presentation, they could be tolerated. Protestants could be tolerated. In the colonies, the European emphasis on one religion in one place was there as a statute, as a formal arrangement, but because of the incoming of the population from different parts of Britain, from Scotland and England, and then from different parts of Europe, there came to be a pluralism of practice on the ground. The middle colonies never had forceful religious establishment. Lower counties of New York were actually had a formal Anglican establishment, but it never took effect in the way that the Anglican establishment in England had taken effect. So you have, as the 18th century develops, both a practical and then also a theoretical, an ideological push towards something like modern toleration. The practical one is you've just got different people of different religious backgrounds. In New England, the 1720s and 1730s, there's enough Baptists that the congregational leaders finally decide, well, these people really are not causing any problem. They're pretty quiet. We'll just allow them to do what they want to do. More controversial in New England, interestingly enough, was allowing Anglican churches the freedom to develop. The Congregationalists of New England had left Britain to escape what they considered the coercive control of the Church of England. But as the 18th century developed, there was a little more space in Congregational Massachusetts for Anglican churches. That had more controversy than allowing Baptists. But the main point was that by the mid-18th century, you just had these different groups all living in the same place. And practically, it meant that enforcing religious uniformity, as was still the norm in Britain, became increasingly difficult. But then there was also a small strand that continued to grow from the 1630s and 1640s that had as its goal, in principle, religious toleration and then even religious freedom. Roger Williams and Hutchinson were voices in early Massachusetts calling for freedom in Christ, freedom in the gospel. They were seen as disruptive forces and were expelled. By the 1730s and 1740s, particularly with the religious revivals of that era, it became harder and harder to put down those people who said it's a Christian right, it's a Christian privilege to be able to worship freely. It's a Christian privilege for people to select their own ministers, a Christian privilege to organize their lives according to their understanding of the scriptures and Christian tradition. So the pragmatic move toward toleration is pluralism. The ideological or principled movement toward pluralism is a Christian sense that there should be freedom in Christ for those who follow Christ to organize as they see fit.